So we were doing this. So this is A, B, C. This was your M, which is perpendicular from here, and this is P, and this was R. And what we were saying was that if you take R as the origin, we know this is 15. This is 15. This is this angle was how much? This angle was 45, and this angle was 30, and this angle was 30, and this angle was also 45, I think, right? So we knew that M is the perpendicular, PM is perpendicular to BC by construction, and therefore MP is equal to MB, because 45 came here. This becomes 60 degree. And we also know that MC by MP is equal to root 3, right? So so then we know that from M, MP and MB are equal distance. This is an equal distance, this is an equal distance. Then they can be thought of as a rotation by 90 degree, no?
Yes.
Correct? So this is the more anti-clockwise sense. So you can say P minus M by B minus M, right? P minus M by B minus M, argument of this should be equal to 90 degree, pi by 2, correct?
Yes, sir.
What have I written? I have written argument of more anti-clockwise, P minus M by B minus M is equal to 90 degree. Can you guys hear me right now?
Yes, sir.
Again, the same issue is coming. I don't know what is happening. Okay, now it is back. Okay, so so I can write the complex number P minus M by B minus M will be equal to mod of P minus M by mod of P minus M into e power I pi by 2, no? Okay, this step everyone should understand what I'm writing this step. So if I say argument of some complex number Z is equal to say alpha, right? Then can I say Z complex number will be equal to mod Z into e power I alpha?
Yes.
This is a reasonable statement, no? This is a statement about the angle that Z makes with the positive x-axis, right? Correct?
Yes.
So if you know the angle, then you can write the complex number in the REI theta form like this, right? Correct?
Yes.
So what I have done here is the same. Think of Z as this complicated complex number, right? So argument of that is known to be pi by 2 because I know this angle 90 degree, right? So then that complicated complex number can be written as modulus of it into e power I pi by 2 by using this logic.
Yes, sir.
Everyone should understand this step because this step is very crucial. Even if you know the angle, you have to write the complex number like this. But in this case, BM and PM were same, no? Identical, right? BM and PM were same sides, right?
Yes.
So BM is this distance and PM is this distance, so they cancel out. So it becomes just e power I pi by 2, which is just I, right? So you basically know one relation, P minus M by B minus M is equal to I. This is one relation from here, right? And here. These two facts are coming together to give you this, right? Now, you also know, you can also do this. The only difference will be, there will be a root 3. The ratio of the sides is root 3, no? This MC by MP, MC by MP is root 3 because it is tan of 60 degree. MC is perpendicular, MP is base, tan of 60 degree is root 3, right?
Yes.
So I will write the complex number for that now. I will just rub this off. So So what is the complex number for that? So let's write the argument first. After that, we'll think about the complex number. So how do we write the argument? Think of the more anti-clockwise side first. MC and MP, I have to write, okay. So here only, if I write like this is the more anti-clockwise side, no, this, right? So C minus M, right? C minus M by P minus M. Argument of C minus M by P minus M must be again 90 degree, right? This angle is 90, right?
Yes.
So again, same logic. I will write the complex number C minus M by P minus M is equal to mod of that complex number into e to the power I pi by 2, whatever is the argument, right? Correct. This is writing basically Z is equal to this. This is a correct statement,
Yes.
right? So now thankfully I know mod of C minus M and P minus M ratio, because MC by MP ratio is √3, no? This becomes mod of C minus M by mod of P minus M into e power I pi by 2. This becomes √3 into I, right?
Yes.
Because √3 is the ratio of the mods. So now I know two relations. I'll write it on the next page. One relation is P minus M by B minus M is equal to I. The other relation is C minus M by P minus M is equal to I √3, right? Correct.
Yes.
From here, can you find P in terms of BC? Find P in terms of B and C, right? So how will we find P now from here? Basically eliminate M, no? You have to eliminate M to find P, right? So P minus M is equal to I into B minus M, and P is equal to M plus IB minus IM, right? So M into 1 minus I plus IB. So P minus IB by 1 minus I is equal to M, no? Correct?
Yes, sir.
I will put that here. So C minus P minus IB by 1 minus I by P minus IB by 1 minus I is equal to I √3, right? So I will get C minus CI minus P plus IB by 1 minus I will get cancelled, and P minus PI minus P plus IB is equal to I √3, right? So P minus P will cancelled here. So I will get C minus CI minus P plus IB is equal to I √3 into this. So minus I square √3P and plus I square √3B. So that becomes √3P minus √3B. And this is C minus CI minus P plus IB. So you get C minus CI plus IB plus √3B is equal to P 1 plus √3, right? Correct? So I can write now C plus P √3 by √3 plus 1 plus I B minus C by √3 plus 1 is equal to P. Correct? Makes sense. I have found my P point, okay, in terms of B and C.
Yes.
So think about the diagram. The diagram was like this, no? This was the diagram. A was here, B was here, C was here, P was here, R was here, and Q was here. And R was taken as origin, and B was written as B, and C was written as C. Now I find P to be P is equal to C plus √3B by 1 plus √3 plus B minus C by 1 plus √3 into I. This is my P coordinate in terms of B and C, right? In a similar way, we'll be able to find Q also, right? So right now, I don't want to do the calculations. I'll just write in a similar way, as in drop a perpendicular from here, right? Drop
Yes.
a perpendicular from here, find out the ratio of this this point, this n, find a n by nq and qn by nc. These ratios you know by trigonometry, right? Because of the angles, you know, no?
Yes.
And then keep writing the complex numbers in terms of these, right? Like this. You can write the complex numbers, no? The way we did the previous one, right? We did MB, we did this ratio and this ratio, right? This by this and this by this, right? You understand?
Yes.
And we found P from here. So similarly, you can find Q to be equal to C plus root 3A by root 3 plus 1 plus A minus C by root 3 plus 1 into I, in the same exact way, which you can try later and verify with this answer, right? Now, suppose we know P and all. So how will we get A and B? A and B, we knew from the beginning that it was a 150-degree rotation, right? So basically, this is the, which is the more anti-clockwise side? A is the more anti-clockwise side. So A is equal to B into e power I into 150. 150 is 5 pi by 6, right? Correct? A is equal to B into minus root 3 by 2 plus I by 2, right? I have written cos 150 plus I sine 150 here, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, now what you need to prove was measure of QRP is 90 degree, right? Measure of QRP is 90 degree. So basically you have to show that QR is perpendicular to PR, right? Right?
Yes.
This angle was 90, you have to show, right? So if R is your origin, then showing that is very easy, no? You have to just show that QR is equal to I times PR, right? Because then PR you have to rotate by 90 degree, no? If R is your origin, to show that this angle is 90 is just a simple rotation by I, no? Multiplication by I, right? QR is just equal to Q minus 0 because R is 0. So Q minus 0 should be equal to I times P minus 0, right?
Yes.
If you multiply this by I, now see what happens. If you multiply this by I, you get my I comes here, and this becomes minus 1. So minus 1 comes here. So it becomes C minus B, and I times this. Now all you have to do is somehow get the connection between A and B here. So we can use, you have to get A minus C and all here. So instead of C minus B, so B you have to write. So B is equal to A by minus root 3 by 2 plus I by 2. So you have to substitute for B and then check. I don't know what to check, but you can check it. It is how do you substitute properly? Just rationalize it like this: minus root 3 by 2 minus I by 2 by minus root 3 by 2 minus I by 2. This part becomes 3 by 4 minus I square by 4. So it becomes plus 1 by 4. So 1, 1. This denominator becomes 1. And this becomes minus A into root 3 plus I by 2. Right? B is basically equal to minus A into root 3 plus I by 2. Now think, if you put in that here, B is equal to minus A into this, then I think it will turn out to be the same thing. I mean, you will have to check it a little bit, but I think it will turn out to be this Q. You can confirm it for yourself. But the point that we want to understand is, if you choose the origin as R, right? then proving that angle, uh, proving that QR is perpendicular to PR is very easy, because you have to just show that QR complex number is I times PR complex number, right? Also RP is equal to RQ, proving that is also very easy, because you have to just do mod of RP origin, because ultimately you have to prove this angle and this distance and this distance, no? So if you take this as origin, then everything becomes simpler, right?
Yes.
So take this as origin, and then basically the question is about finding P and Q. Once you find P and Q, after that it is calculation and verification, right? Okay, so what we will do next is we'll see conditions for collinearity, orthogonality, concyclicity. Concyclicity, collinearity, and orthogonality. Orthogonality means perpendicular. Orthogonality. These conditions we'll see. So let's think of four distinct points. Four distinct points, say M of I, Z of I, which are where I goes from 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, I mean M1, M2, M3, M4, 4 points whose coordinates are Z1, Z2, Z3, and Z4. Okay. Now, first thing that we'll see is M1, M2, and M3 are collinear. Are collinear if and only if you have Z3 minus Z1 by Z2 minus Z1 belongs to real positive. This is something that we have already seen earlier, right? They lie on the same line, right? This happens because argument of Z3 minus Z1 should be equal to argument of Z2 minus Z1. You remember earlier we had already seen that they lie on the same line, then this has to happen, right? So when you subtract, this becomes argument of basically Z3 minus Z1 by Z2 minus Z1 is equal to 0. So then this must be real, no? This complex number must lie on the real axis, right?
Yes.
Okay, so second one is, this is one collinearity condition. Second one is lines M1, M2. Lines M1, M2 and M3, M4 are orthogonal or basically perpendicular if and only if you can prove that Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4 belongs to I times some real number. Okay, I times some real number, basically it means that it is imaginary, né? Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4. What is the meaning of this? So let's say M1, M2. M1 is here, M2 is here, M3 is here, M4 is here. So clearly this angle, if we are looking at, and this is perpendicular if argument of M1 minus M2 by M3 minus M4, right? Or M4 minus M3, whatever, should be equal to 90 degree, no? If you take these 2 points and these 2 points, right? The argument of this line minus this line, this is this angle, no?
Yes.
That should be 90 degree. That means if argument is 90, then that means that this particular complex number can be written like this: M3 minus M4 is equal to mod of this M1 minus M2 by M3 minus M4 into e power I pi by 2, which is I. And this is a real number, no? Real into I, right? You understand? That is what we are writing here. Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4 should be real into I, no?
Yes, sir.
Adesh, are you getting it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is also coming straight from the definition of how you write the angles, right? So okay, so can you check this, check whether the points, check whether the points m1 2 minus I, 2 minus I, m2 minus 1 plus 2I, m3 minus 2 minus I, m4 1 plus 2I. Check whether m1 m2 is perpendicular to m3 m4. So how will we check that? We'll say argument of, or we'll not even say argument, we'll directly say z1 minus z2 by z3 minus z4 should be I times some real number, right? Then only m1 m2 m1 m2 and m3 m4, right? Then only this angle is 90, right? This is I times the modulus. Basically what you're saying is argument of z1 minus z2 by z3 minus z4 is equal to 90 degree. So z1 minus z2 by z3 minus z4 is equal to mod of z1 minus z2 by mod of z3 minus z4 into e power I pi by 2. Now this will be a real number and this will be I. So that is what you're saying. So let's just check our question here. Check these points. Z1 minus Z2 becomes 3 minus 3I by Z3 minus Z4 becomes minus 3 minus 3I, right?
Yes.
Correct? Something like this it is coming, no? Z3 minus Z4 minus 2 minus 1 minus 1 minus 3. Huh. And this is becoming 2 plus 1 minus 1 minus 3. So this is equal to 3 cancels 1 minus I by minus 1 minus I multiplied by minus 1 plus I by minus 1 plus I. So this becomes this denominator becomes minus 1 whole square minus I square. So 1 plus 1 2. And the numerator becomes minus 1 plus I minus I square. So plus 1. So plus 1 and minus 1 get cancelled. So it is 2I by 2, right? Which is equal to I, right? So here the ratio is becoming just I. So it is a perpendicular set of points. This M1, M2 segment is perpendicular to M3, M4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, now third proposition. Third proposition is this. Points M1, Z1, M2, Z2, M3, Z3, and M4, Z4 are concyclic or collinear if and only if k is equal to the ratio of z3 minus z2 by z1 minus z2 is 2, z3 minus z4 by z1 minus z4. This ratio is actually basically then z3 minus z2 by z1 minus z2 divided by z3 minus z4 divided by z1 minus z4. This is the ratio. This ratio belongs to real. If this ratio is a real number, then the points are either concyclic or collinear, right? So let's try to understand this case. How does it happen? So, okay. So when will they will concyclic? Concyclic if M1, this is M1, M2, M3, and M4, right? They will be concyclic when this angle plus this angle is equal to 180, no? Correct? M1, M4, M3 and M1, M2, M3, this angle should add up to 180.
Yes, sir.
So let's write the angles using complex numbers. So more anti-clockwise side is this, and here more anti-clockwise side is this, right? The arrows are like this, anti-clockwise arrows. Okay. So what is my this angle? That is argument of M1 minus M4. So Z1 minus Z4 by Z3 minus Z4 plus argument of this one is Z3 minus Z2 by Z1 minus Z2. This should be equal to pi, right? Correct. So this can be said as argument of Z1 minus Z4 multiplied by Z3 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4 multiplied by Z1 minus Z2, right? Is equal to pi, right?
Yes, sir.
So clearly if this big thing argument is pi, then it is a real number, no? Argument is pi for any complex number means it lies on the real axis.
Yes.
So this is a real number. This thing is a real number. See, the same thing was there. Z1 minus Z4, Z3 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4, Z1 minus Z2, right? So clearly for concyclic, we have seen this. Concyclic, it is true. What about collinear? For collinear, all four of them are in the same line, right?
Yes, sir.
So in that case also, we can say that
The angles add up to 180.
Yes.
so Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, right? In that case also, if you look at these two angles, M1, M4, M3, right? M1, M4, M3, right? So this angle will be something, and what the other one is M1, M2, M3. Okay, so M1, M2, M3 angle is 180 and the other angle is 0, right? Right? The angles add up to 180, no? Then also. Just convince yourself, think about it for a minute. See, M1, M2, M3, right? M1, M2, M3. M2 is the middle thing, so the angle is like this, no? M1, M4, M3 on the other hand. M1, M4 and M3. So this is 0-degree angle, no? Mansi, are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So the angles add up to 180. So same condition comes for collinearity also, right? Same thing happens again, right? Correct. So we will modify the theorem a little bit. We'll say we'll give some details to the theorem. So one, the points M1, M2, M3, M4 are collinear, just collinear, if and only if just Z3 minus Z2 by Z1 minus Z2 belongs to real and Z3 minus Z4 by Z1 minus Z4 belongs to real. So aren't they individually also, these two things are also real, no? Because each angle is either 0 or 90, no? 0 or pi, right?
Yes, sir.
This is M3, M2, M1 angle. M3, M2, either it will be 0 or pi. M3, M2, M1. This is pi. M3, M2, M1. And this is M3, M4, M1. M3, M4, M1. This is 0-degree angle. M3, M4, and then M1. So what in this case, individually, these two things are also real. Okay. Obviously, the overall theorem that we saw was the total product was real, right? We got Z3 minus Z2 into Z1 minus Z4 by Z1 minus Z2 into Z3 minus Z4. this overall thing was also real, right? But this was for both collinear and concyclic, right? But the overall thing is composed of two things which are individually also real. For collinear, the parts are also real. For concyclic, what we will say is the overall thing is real, this overall thing,
Yes. So because
but the
in the
parts
first
are
one,
not real.
so because in the first one the reverse is not true for collinear.
What reverse?
So reverse. So you said it's an if and only if statement. So but that is only for concyclic.
No, here also this is an if and only if statement.
Yes, sir. So but the first one is not true for collinear if and only if, like both ways.
The first one as in this theorem.
Yes.
No, that is also true. But in that case, the problem was ki the thing was
Not
ki
for collinear.
it was
So
both.
because yeah, because the other way won't be true because you can have concyclic without collinear. So then the reverse would not be true.
No, this is not an and, this is an or. In the
Yes.
first case, the theorem was saying ki either collinear or concyclic, this has to be
Yeah.
real. Okay.
Yes.
So if this is real, it is either collinear or concyclic. The reverse is also true, but it's just
Yeah.
that the specifications of how it is true is this, that
Yes.
if it is collinear, then notice here that this is four factors, no?
Yes. Okay.
Four factors are together coming to be real. That is not the case for collinear. For collinear, just two factors itself are also real. Okay. So it's a
Yes.
product of two real numbers now, right?
Yes.
This into this. For concyclic, the overall four factors are real. This into this into this into this is real, but the individual two factors are not necessarily real, right?
Yes.
Because for concyclic, they will be on a circle. So it is not necessary that this angle and all will become pi and all. No, it's not at all necessary, right?
Yes.
Is everyone getting it, what I'm saying? When you just take these two factors, that is an arbitrary angle that doesn't have to be 180 degree or 0 degree, right? It can be 65 degree and 115 degree that add up to make the whole four things real, right? But individually they are not real, right? I hope it is clear. Om.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
it is all coming by the arguments thing. It is all coming by the arguments thing, and collinear and concyclic are very related in the sense that these four things combine together to become real. But in collinear, the individual parts are also real because it has to, every angle is either 0 or 180 degree, right? If it is collinear, 4 points, right? But in concyclic, every angle doesn't have to be 0 or 180 degree. The sum has to be 0. So individually they can be non-real, but the product has to come out to be real, right? I hope that is clear, right? Now, okay, so we have done collinear, concyclic, perpendicular, right? Now we'll look at what is the meaning of similar triangles. Similar triangles in complex numbers. Okay, so similar triangles. Okay, so the triangles, so the theorem, triangles A1, A2, A3 and B1, B2, B3 are similar and having the same orientation. We'll discuss that. Having the same orientation if and only if A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1 is equal to B2 minus B1 by B3 minus B1. That's it. So let's try to understand what it means. This point is, say, A1, A2, A3. This is B1, B2, B3. Okay. So we have one triangle like this. A1, A2, A3, and one other triangle like this. B1, B2, B3. Okay. Now, what does it mean to be similar, right? What is he saying? We could have proved similarity by proving that one common angle is same and these sides are in the correct ratio, no? Right? So if I had to prove similarity, I could have proven it by saying A1, A2 by B1, B2 is the same as A2, A3 by B2, B3, and angle A1, A2, A3 is equal to angle B1, B2, B3. Is that sufficient to prove similarity? This is SAS, right? SAS. Are you guys agreeing that this is sufficient to prove similarity? The corresponding two sides are proportional and the angle included is equal, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct, no? Now what we will do here is, see, this is just A1, A2. This is just A1, A2 by A2, A3 should be same as B1, B2 by B2, B3.
So what is same orientation?
Same orientation means the angle,
One angle included.
the included angle is measured in the same sense. You don't have anti-clockwise here and clockwise here.
Okay.
Like both the times you are measuring in the same clockwise sense, right?
Yes, so but there
Otherwise,
could also be a SSS similarity also.
SSS similarity, once they are similar, then everything is same, no? Like
Yeah,
this is
but
the lowest, this is the least possible condition that you can apply. Like this is the most simplest looking condition that you can apply.
okay.
We will see that this will imply everything else, right? So right now, first try to understand if this is true, if this makes sense, if it is similar. So SAS similarity we are seeing right now, we are seeing the ratio of the sides is going to be same, ratio of these sides. So we have A1, A2 by A2, A3 is equal to B1, B2 by B2, B3, and also we have the angle is equal to same, right? So what is in complex numbers? How will I write A1, A2 by A2, A3? I will write A2 minus A1 mod by A3 minus, okay, actually I have made a mistake here. I have labeled it wrong.
A2.
It is different sides. Wait 1 second. So here he is making all the angles with respect to A1, no? So he's doing this and this, right? See, A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1 is this angle, right? Correct?
Yes.
And B2 minus B1 he is doing with respect to this angle, so that's fine, that's not a big deal. So what is this? This means this side by this side, which is equal to A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1 is equal to B2 minus B1 mod by B3 minus B1. Okay, actually there's a much easier way to prove this. Take these two complex numbers, right? Take these
So
two
the arguments are equal and the
mods are also equal.
yeah.
So take
Yeah.
mods on both sides first. As soon as you do mods on both sides, then this becomes mod this by mod this, mod this. This is the ratio of the sides, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
And because this
And
complex
the
number can be written as A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1, complex number can be written as this. Right? Similarly, this B2 minus B1 can be written as mod of B2 minus B1 by mod of B3 minus B1 e power I angle B2, B1, B3. So since these two complex numbers are same, then and this mods are also same, so mods can get cancelled and this is also same, right? So the equality is true, right? So are you understanding what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, because you have A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1 is equal to B2 minus B1 by B3 minus B1. So the sides are also in ratio and then the angles are also same, are in common ratio. And which sides are in common ratio? A2 A1 by A3 A1 is same as B2 B1
B2.
by B3 B1, and this also means that the angle A2 A1 A3 is same as angle B2 B1 B3, because argument you can take on both sides, argument, right? Argument of this is this angle only, right? And that is how you also understand the sense of the word, the orientation. Because if it was slightly wrong, if it was b1 minus b2 by b3 minus b1 minus b3 or something, right? Or some opposite thing, angle would be the same angle, but it would be referring to the negative of it, right? You understand? The argument could have been measured in the opposite way, right? So that would be similar triangle, but in with a opposite orientation, with a negative orientation, right? So in this case, what we have realized is that triangles are similar if this happens. If these complex numbers are same, the triangles are similar, which is a very nice condition because it is very easy to write that condition. A1, A2, A3 is a triangle, B1, B2, B3 is a triangle. It's very easy to write the similarity condition. Just take whatever complex numbers for 2, basically write it as if you are writing an angle, right? But don't just write the angle, just write the whole complex number only, right? So for example, let's do a question here on the similarity idea so that we are more clear on this. Okay, so let's do a question. It was an IMO shortlist question. IMO shortlist. I think this is 1989. Okay, so
And the previous one was an IMO question, I think.
which one?
So the
Hmm.
the one in which we had to
P and Q.
Yeah, PQR.
Maybe, I don't know. It was not mentioned. Let ABO be an equilateral triangle with center S, and let A dash B dash O be another equilateral triangle with the same orientation. With the same orientation means angles are measured in the same way, anti-clockwise, and S is not equal to A dash, S dash, S is also not equal to B dash, is also not equal to B dash. Consider M and N, consider M and N the midpoints of segments A dash B and AB dash, A dash B and AB dash. Prove that triangles S B dash M and S A dash N are similar. Okay, so this doesn't even look like there is any connection to complex numbers here, right? This looks like a straightforward geometry question. So if you just think of the geometry part, ABO is an equilateral triangle with center S. Center of an equilateral triangle means what? It is like in center, centroid, circumcenter, everything.
Also,
right?
no centroid.
Everything is the same, no, in equilateral triangle.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Good.
So ABO is an equilateral triangle. So let's write it. Let's draw it. So So let's say this is A, this is B, this is O. ABO is an equilateral triangle. Center is S. Let's say this is the center S. A dash B dash O is another equilateral with same orientation. S is not equal to A dash, and S is not equal to B dash. Okay. Okay. A dash B dash O is another equilateral triangle. So we'll draw another equilateral triangle. Let's say like this. A dash B dash O. Another equilateral triangle. M and N are midpoints of A dash B. Okay. Now it starts becoming a little complicated. M and N are midpoints of A dash B. M is here and A B dash. A B dash. So let's say N is here. We have to prove that S B M. So now I cannot even draw it, which is becoming too complicated. S B dash M. Okay, maybe you can draw it. S B dash M. We have to prove that S B dash M and S A dash N. S A dash N. Okay, weird. S A dash N are similar. So the question is becoming quite complicated, no? Quite complicated if you think about it as a regular geometry question. But don't think about it as a regular geometry question. Think of it as a complex number question and it will become totally doable. So, okay, so let's think about it. ABO is my equilateral triangle, right? So, okay, so let's put coordinates for everything. So let's say origin is S, right? S is my origin, right? So S is origin. So ABO is equilateral triangle. Let's put O on the x-axis, right? O on the x-axis. So what is the distance between S and O? Distance of a vertex from the centroid, no? Or circumcenter, right? Correct. O point can be written as what in terms of complex number? Circumradius.
Yes, sir.
Basically, what I'm saying is it's like this. Origin is here, but this is actually point S, right? So this O point's coordinates will be what? Capital R, right? In complex numbers, because it is on the x-axis only, I'm assuming, right? Correct.
Yes.
And this is A and B. So O point I know is R. So what is going to be my A point? A point?
Sure.
A what? A point. I need a coordinates of it, right? I need a complex number for it. So isn't it going to be just a rotation here, right? This line, if I rotate by 120 degree, I should get A point, no? Is everyone understanding what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I want to get A points coordinates, I need to rotate this OS line by 120 degree, no? Remember the cube roots of unity when we had an equilateral triangle like this. This point was 1, 0. This was the center. This was e power I 2 pi by 3, right? And this was e power I 4 pi by 3. Remember? Cube roots of 1 when we had done. We got an equilateral triangle, no? So same way here also 120 degrees. So this is going to be rotating this about the origin through. So I will write 0 plus r minus 0 e power I into 120 degrees. So 2 pi by 3. This is my after rotation where my O becomes A, right? Remember the rotation rule? It was rotation about a point, and about a point, it was the point where you rotated about plus whatever you were rotating. So b minus a into e power I alpha was your c, no?
Yes.
Remember? So here my point is rotation about the origin. So 0 plus, what are you rotating? This point r minus 0 into e power I 2 pi by 3. So this is my thing. So basically this becomes r e power I 2 pi by 3, right? This is my a point. And what is my b point? Now I'll rotate a about again 2 pi by 3 to get b, right? Correct. So this will become, b will become r, again it is about origin, so it is e power 4 pi by 3, no? Again it is rotation about the origin, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Right. So what I'm saying is finally that this situation is happening. This is S, this is O, this is A, this is B. O's coordinate is R. This coordinate is R into epsilon, and this coordinate is R into epsilon square, where epsilon is e power I 2 pi by 3, right? So this is because of pure rotation. This distance is R. I have found the coordinates of O, A, and B. Okay. Now, let's say now we have to think about these A dash, B dash, and all, right? A dash, B dash, O, right? So, okay. B dash, let's write or draw A dash and B dash here somehow. This was my, okay. B dash, A dash, and this was my B dash. Okay. Now, so I have to assume some variable now, because obviously we cannot keep, these are all known, not known points. So some variable has to be taken. So, so B dash can be written as, what will be the B dash coordinate? If this much is Z, then isn't it R plus Z? B dash, because you can start from origin, go to R, and then R plus Z, right? If this segment is called Z, right? This segment is called Z, then you can say R plus Z is B dash, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to assume B dash is R plus Z complex number. Now what will be A dash? What will be A dash is what I have to think, right? Now again I will think of rotation, because why did I put R plus Z here? I put R plus Z here is because if I take O as the origin, B dash was at Z, right? From O, right? If I take O as the origin, my B dash is at Z from O, right? This is the coordinate of B dash. Because O itself is R, so from the real coordinate origin, it is R plus Z, but from O it is Z only, no?
Yes.
So if it is Z from O, then isn't it, after that it is just a pure rotation from here to get A, right? Right. So, but this is a clockwise rotation, right? This, to get A dash, I have to do a clockwise rotation, right? So A dash should be Z into e power minus I into 2 pi by 3, right? Right.
Yes.
This is a clockwise rotation. I am not going anti-clockwise, right? So e power minus 2 pi by 3, let's write e power minus 2 pi by 3. That will be cos of 2 minus 2 pi by 3, which is cos 120 is minus 1 by 2 minus root 3 by 2 I, right? Is it minus minus? Let's think about it. Correct. It is minus minus only. Yeah. And this one was epsilon was what? Cos 120 plus I sine 120, right? That was minus half plus I root 3 by 2. So basically it's like a epsilon conjugate, no? This is just epsilon conjugate, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is Z epsilon conjugate. This is A dash, right?
Yes.
So this is A dash is Z epsilon conjugate, but that is measured from O. So the actual A dash coordinate is R plus Z epsilon conjugate, right? Actual A dash is capital R plus Z epsilon conjugate. And this was R plus Z, right? Correct. So midpoints now M and N are easy to find. M and N. M was the midpoint of what? A dash B. M was midpoint of A dash B. So it is just A dash plus B by 2, right? So what is it then? M coordinate comes out to be R plus Z epsilon naught plus B. B was R E square, epsilon square by 2. This is M. And what is N? N was the midpoint of A B dash, right? A B dash, correct? So A was what? A was RE and B dash is R plus Z by 2. Midpoint. Midpoint I'm doing by section formula. Everyone agrees, right?
Yes, sir.
So M and N coordinates I have found. And what do I need to find now? I need to prove that triangles SB dash M and SA dash N are similar, right? Triangles SB dash M,
S A dash.
SA dash N are similar. So to prove this similarity, all I have to do is complex number for one particular angle should be equal to the complex number for the similar angle there, right? So, okay. So think of it as my A1, A2, A3 in that previous question and B1, B2, B3, right? I have to just prove that A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1. A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1 is same as B2 minus B1 by B3 minus B1, right? So here I have to prove that B dash minus S by M minus S, right? Correct. This is it. No, A2 minus A1 by A3 minus A1. Correct. Huh. Is same as A dash minus S by N minus S. This is what I have to prove. No, the complex number should be identical. That will mean both corresponding sides are same, and it will also mean that the argument is the same, right? SAS similarity I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So basically now I have to prove S is the origin. So this calculation becomes really easy because it's just B dash by M I have to prove is equal to A dash by N, right? Correct.
Yes, sir.
So B dash, A dash, everything I know. B dash is what? B dash is R plus Z. A dash, M is this. So I have to prove that. Okay, I'll do it here only. B dash by M. B dash is R plus Z. R plus Z by M. M is R plus Z epsilon plus R epsilon square by 2. So 2 goes on top is same as A dash by N. A dash is R plus Z epsilon conjugate by N. N is R plus R epsilon plus Z by 2. So 2 gets cancelled. I have to just prove this much. Okay. Okay. So proving this is the same as proving this cross product is same. So let's do the cross product. R square plus R square epsilon plus rz plus rz plus r epsilon z plus z square, and this side is cross product is r square plus rz epsilon conjugate rz epsilon conjugate, okay, plus rz epsilon conjugate plus z square epsilon conjugate square plus r square epsilon square plus r z epsilon square epsilon conjugate, right? So many terms are anyway common. R square e square nothing, z square am I getting? Okay, I'm getting this. Okay, only one term is coming common. Okay, now this epsilon conjugate and epsilon conjugate, epsilon, these relations you need to get. So this is just e power minus I 2 pi by 3, and this is e power minus I 4 pi by 3. You have to just prove that they are going to be same. So what is epsilon into epsilon conjugate? That is equal to 1. So this portion, epsilon into epsilon conjugate is equal to 1, because e power I 2 pi by 3 into e power I minus 2 pi by 3. So this is just rz epsilon,
Yes.
rz epsilon. So that cancels this one. This last term goes away and this goes away. So now we are just left with 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here, right? Okay, so r square epsilon plus rz plus rz. You have r square epsilon plus 2rz plus z square. On this side there is 2rz epsilon conjugate plus z square epsilon conjugate square plus r square e square. Okay, so I will need some space here. 1 second. So it is true, so it will come now. What I want you to understand from here is that just by writing the complex numbers and finding the points, the whole question is just checking values and all. There is no great complicated thing that is left now. It is just some checking of values. 2rz epsilon conjugate plus z square epsilon conjugate square plus r square epsilon square, no, yeah, this is what you have to check. Now we know that this is equal to 1, so this can be written as 1 by this. So I will write this everywhere. 2rz 1 by this plus z square by epsilon square plus r square epsilon square. Take common denominator epsilon square. This becomes 2rz epsilon plus z square plus r square epsilon to the power 4. Now that is equal to 2rz epsilon plus z square plus r square epsilon by e square, because e power 3 is 1, because 2 pi by 3, no, e power I 2 pi by 3. So when you 2 whole power 3, it becomes 1. So we are ending up with this this on the left hand side, right hand side, and this now looks very similar to what we need. R square this plus this. The only thing is this one factor is bothering. R square, one factor is slightly awkward.
So it's true.
Huh?
So both the sides have the same term. Yeah.
Is one factor is problematic. There is some issue. These two terms are matching directly, this term. This term is the problem. I mean, maybe there is a mistake. I have not done it very nicely. Maybe some calculation mistake has happened, but ultimately the question is about just proving similarity by doing this. So what I want you to see is finally, to prove similarity between triangles SB dash M and SA dash N, to prove they are similar, what you have to do is Z of B dash minus Z of S by Z of M minus Z of S should be same as Z of A dash minus Z of S by Z of N minus Z of S. This is what you have to show, right? Now SS goes away, so you have to show Z of B dash by Z of M is same as Z of A dash by Z of N, because SS is 0. And we have already found our A dash, B dash and all, and N and all also we have found. So ultimately it's a question of finding A dash, B dash, M, N correctly, right? So if we have made some mistake there, it might have been wrong, but M, and I think we did it correctly only. Z R minus Z equal this. Just check it once more here. Just check the calculations if we have done everything correctly here. But ideally the idea is the same. What I want to also show you now is equilateral triangles. What is an equilateral triangle? In an equilateral triangle, you have many conditions. In complex numbers, if Z1, Z2, Z3 are the vertices of an equilateral triangle, then you will have these conditions. Okay. First condition is obvious. Z1 minus Z2 is equal to 2 minus Z3 is equal to mod of Z1 minus Z3, right? Then second condition is Z2 minus Z1 by Z3 minus Z2 is equal to Z3 minus Z2 by Z1 minus Z2. So what is this condition really saying? This is like okay, this is not really an angle, but what it means is, isn't this minus times Z2 minus Z1 by Z3? Okay, wait, this is becoming negative of Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2, and this is becoming Z3 minus Z2 by Z1 minus Z2. So now what is the meaning of this condition? If you have a triangle, think about it, Z1, Z2, Z3. This Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2, isn't it this angle? They are talking about something like this angle, right? Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2, right? So, and this one, which angle are they talking about? Z3 minus Z2, Z3 minus Z2 by Z2 minus Z1 minus, again same angle, right? Why is it coming same angle? Then it is obviously correct, but with the opposite sign, right?
Clockwise and
Clockwise and anti-clockwise, they are doing the same angle in two different ways. But this is not an angle actually, this is a complex number. So they are saying that modulus is also same. So basically they're saying this side by this side is the same as this side. Okay, that is obvious. Oh, they're same because reciprocal is coming same, no? Basically they're saying that the sides are equal and the angles are also
So, but if the
equal.
sides are equal, then the angles automatically become equal.
Two sides are equal, that doesn't mean included
So
angle is equal.
all three are equal. So all three sides are equal. So condition 1 is saying that all three sides are equal.
Condition 1 you cannot use here. I am trying to think why is condition 2 same as equilateral triangle. I am trying to understand that why is condition 2 sufficient to be equilateral triangle.
Okay.
So these are independent looking conditions. Obviously condition 1 is true, equilateral triangle, obviously this is true. But is condition 2 also the same as equilateral triangle is what I'm trying to understand. Okay. So right now it doesn't seem very obvious. It seems a little weird condition. Okay. So Z2 minus Z1 by Z3 minus Z1. Actually, we will get to this. So let me just draw a figure here. Z1, Z2, Z3. Okay. Now one condition is obvious. Mod of Z1 minus Z2 is equal to mod of Z2 minus Z3 is equal to mod of Z3 minus Z1, right? Now we can also show that okay, can't we say that each angle is 60 degree, right? This is 60 degree, right? So we can say that Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2 is equal to mod of Z1 minus Z2 by mod of Z3 minus Z2 e power I pi by 3. This we can say, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So because this is an equilateral triangle, this should cancel off. So this is just e power I pi by 3 is equal to Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2, right? Now let's do Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2 we have gotten. So let's do Z3 minus Z2 by, okay, obviously Z3 minus Z2 and Z2 minus Z1 are e power minus I pi by 3. No? You understand now this condition that we had written earlier, Z2 minus Z1 by Z3 minus Z2 is equal to Z3 minus Z2 by Z1 minus Z2, right? On its own, this thing is becoming minus of e power I pi by 3, right? On its own, just think of this one, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
And this one becomes e power that it is just the inverse of it, e power I minus I pi by 3, right? So e power minus I pi by 3 is it the same? Doesn't look like the same. Minus of doesn't look like the same. So I feel like there's something wrong in this then. Actually, I think there is a mistake here because I think you should have done this angle. If you set this angle Z2 minus Z3 by Z2 minus Z3 by Z1 minus Z3 is also e power I pi by 3, then you will get a nice looking condition, no, between this and this. You'll say this one or this one actually. You'll say Z1 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z2 is equal to this one. Z2 minus Z3 by
Z1 minus Z.
now this makes a lot more sense because both of them are equal to e power I pi by 3, right? Right, this condition is the actual real condition. I think there is some mistake there. I did not expect that. Okay, so okay, what have I done here? I have said that this side by this side is also, this side is equal to this side, that's why you are able to cancel off the sides, and this side is equal to this side, so all sides are equal and the two angles are all 60 degree, right? So that is sufficient to say that it is an equilateral triangle, right? Oh, Adesh, are you understanding?
Yes.
There is one more, actually there are multiple, but there is one more nice result that you should know. If Z1, Z2, Z3 are vertices of an equilateral triangle, are vertices of an equilateral triangle, then Z1 square plus Z2 square plus Z3 square is equal to Z1, Z2 plus Z2, Z3 plus Z3, Z1. This is a condition. Now, how will it come? It will come by, I think it can be obtained by just trying to factorize it.
So this is a aim, like we solve the inequality a square plus b square plus c square is greater than equal to ab plus bc plus ca.
It is like that, but
Yeah,
it is
but
complex numbers, so
it's equal. Okay, so it won't work.
right, so it won't work very directly. So let's see how we can get it. Okay, so okay, so can we first prove that Z1 into Z2 conjugate is the same as Z2 into Z3 conjugate is the same as Z3 into Z1 conjugate for an equilateral triangle? If we can prove that, then we will be able to do it. So how will we prove that? So plus one. Okay, so if it is an equilateral triangle, uh, what is Z1 into Z2 conjugate? Take mod on this side, right? Mod is equal to mod Z1 into mod Z2 conjugate, which is equal to mod Z1 into mod Z2, right? This is just the distance of Z1 and Z2 from the origin, right? So if your equilateral triangle has center at the origin, if your equilateral triangle is centered at the origin, right? Then mod Z1 into mod Z2 is equal to this and this, no? And this, right? Basically, I'm saying consider your equilateral triangle Z1, Z2, Z3.
So their mods are equal. The three values.
The three mods are equal, right? So what you should have is center is 0, center is at 0, then mod Z1 is equal to mod Z2 is equal to mod Z3, because of which your three mods are equal, right? Now Z1 into Z2 conjugate, right? Z1 into Z2 conjugate. Now you can write this angle. Let's write this angle, right? So you will have Z1 minus 0 by Z3 minus 0 is equal to e power I 2 pi by 3, correct? And similarly, you will have this angle Z2 minus 0 by Z1 minus 0 is also e power I 2 pi by 3, no? Correct? Correct.
Yes, sir.
So I will be able to write now Z1 by Z3 is equal to Z2 by Z1. So you get Z1 square is equal to Z2 Z3. Then you can prove this.
Yes.
Similarly, you will get another ratio. If you take, you will get Z2 square is equal to Z3 Z1. What am I saying? How did I get it? I got it by saying that if you take the center, then mods are equal, right? And take one angle between this 2 pi by 3 angle, right? So Z1 minus 0 by Z3 minus 0 is equal to Z2 minus 0 by Z1 minus 0, no? Because mods are equal.
Yes.
Right, because of which now we are getting the ratio of the complex numbers are equal. So basically, in an equilateral triangle, you have Z1 square is equal to Z2 Z3, Z2 square is equal to Z3 Z1, and Z3 square is equal to Z1 Z2. So the summing up of all three is also going to be equal to this, right? Correct.
Yes, sir.
So that is an interesting thing to know. Now, one question. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. one question after which we will be able to.
So will we get a worksheet on that?
Yeah, I'll send a worksheet on complex numbers. In the exterior of a triangle ABC. Okay, actually there are some more propositions that are there. One more proposition is there which is useful sometimes. Okay, so I'll just tell you that proposition also. So let Z1, Z2, Z3, let Z1, Z2, Z3 be the vertices of triangle A1, A2, A3, which is equilateral triangle. Okay, so then what we can do is we can show that 1 Z3 minus Z1 is equal to epsilon times Z2 minus Z1, where epsilon is equal to cos pi by 3 plus I into sine pi by 3. This is obvious. Second is Z2 minus Z1 is equal to epsilon into Z3 minus Z1, where epsilon is cos 5 pi by 3 plus I sine 5 pi by 3. As soon as you draw a triangle, you will understand that these are correct state. Z1, Z2, Z3. So what is Z3 minus Z1 and Z2 minus Z1? So he's saying this angle is 60 degree, right? That is the statement, right? Correct.
Yes, sir.
If you are rotating about Z1 point, then you will write Z3 minus Z1 is equal to E times epsilon times Z2 minus Z1, no? And this statement Z2 minus Z1 is equal to epsilon times Z3 minus Z1. So Z2 minus Z1, okay, so this is 5 pi by 3, no, here. So you are saying 1 by epsilon Z2 minus Z1 is equal to Z3 minus Z1, and 1 by this is 1 by e power I 5 pi by 3, no, which is same as e power I pi by 3, right?
Yes.
Because on top is e power I 2 pi, right? So it's the same thing written in a different way, right? Instead of taking this 60 degree, he has taken this 300 degree, right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
1 and 2 are same. Then third thing is the important thing. Third thing is you can always write Z1 plus epsilon Z2 plus epsilon square Z3 is equal to 0. You can always write this, where epsilon is equal to cos 2 pi by 3 plus I sine 2 pi by 3. Now what is special about this epsilon? This is a cube root of unity, sometimes written as W. This is e power I 2 pi by 3, no? This one.
Yes, sir.
If you cube it, it is 1, no? Epsilon cube is 1, okay? So what he is saying is, in any equilateral triangle, if you have Z1, Z2, Z3 are the coordinates, then you can say Z1 plus epsilon into Z2 plus epsilon square into Z3 is 0, where this epsilon is the cube root of unity, right? Now we can easily prove it by using the original results that we have, right? So just what we can do is implies B. B is equivalent to the second one. So if you just put the values, no, put the values and just put the value of Z2 using this and Z3 using this, right? I mean, use these results to get values of Z2 in terms of Z1. You have to somehow eliminate the variables and get it. So we can prove it. I just see Z3 is equal to what? What are we getting? Z3 is equal to Z1 plus epsilon Z2 minus Z1, right? Correct. Where this epsilon is this, no? So I will not even bother with Z3 anymore. Okay. I will use the Z3 in this and get Z2 also in terms of Z1. Okay. Are you getting what I'm saying? So here Z1 plus epsilon is what? Cos pi by 3 plus I sin pi by 3. No, so that is cos 60. So half plus root 3 by 2I into Z2 minus Z1, right? This is my Z3, right?
Yes.
Let's put that Z3 here and use this particular epsilon here and get our Z2 in terms of Z1. If I put Z3, I will get in this side becomes in terms of Z2 and Z1, no? Right? From the first equation, Z3 can be gotten in terms of Z2 and Z1. When you put
Yes.
that in the second equation, you will get Z2 and Z1 one condition, right?
Yes.
So Z2 can be written in terms of also Z1, right? Something in terms of Z1, right? You can isolate the Z2 from here. So now finally, I will write here Z1, Z2 I will keep it here, and Z3 I will write using this
In terms of
in terms of Z1 and all. Basically, it's just a matter of simplification. If you check on some triangles, it will come out. So let's just verify it at least. So take any arbitrary triangle, equilateral triangle it should be. Okay. So tell me the coordinates. You guys tell me the coordinates. Any triangle, equilateral, right? Tell me. So we can take an equilateral triangle like this, right? One is at origin. This is 1, 0, and this is this distance has to be 1, right? So what is the point location should be? Should be
Root 3 by 2, root 3 by 2.
root 3 by 2 and half, no? Half into root 3 by 2, right? Something like that, no? Correct. This should be the third coordinate. Midpoint of the side up, and you have to go high root 3 by 2, then only you will get one distance, no? This one,
yes, sir.
right?
And that will do three.
Okay, so my Z1 is 0, 0. Z2 is half plus root 3 by 2 into I, and Z3 is 1 plus I into 0, right? Now I will just verify Z1 plus E times Z2 plus E squared Z3. This should be equal to 0. Now E squared Z3 should be 0, where E is equal to E power I 2 pi by 3, right? So let's just check. Z1 is 0, so that is anyway gone. Plus E times Z2. So E power I 2 pi by 3 multiplied by Z2. Z2 is half plus root 3 by 2I plus E power I 4 pi by 3 multiplied by Z3 is 1. So this becomes cos 2 pi by 3 is minus half plus root 3 by 2 into I. This is my E power I 2 pi by 3. To multiply by this plus E power I 4 pi by 3, that is minus half minus root 3 by 2I. So what is the value of this multiplication? It will be root 3 by 2I whole square. So 3 by 4I square minus 1 by 4. And I have a minus half minus root 3 by 2I. How is it I coming? How is the I coming? Something is going wrong here because I'm not getting, I'm getting some value. Maybe the orientation is wrong. So Z1, Z2, Z3 I have not chosen properly. So
So, but the order should not matter.
No, it will matter if positively oriented triangle. If Z1, Z2, Z3 should be a positively oriented triangle, like Z1, Z2, Z3, in the sense that the angles should be cos 2 pi by 3 and all. Okay, 1 second. Okay.
So then
So
your orientation is wrong because
I'm thinking, wait. A1, A2, A3, A1, A2, A3 is called a positively oriented equilateral triangle. If A3 is obtained from A2, A3 is obtained from A2 by rotation about A1 through 60 degree. Basically, you rotate A2 about A1 through 60 degree, and then you should get A3. So if I rotate Z2 about this through 60 degree, I should get Z3. Like 0, 0, if I rotate like this by 60 degree about A1. So let me just check if my orientation is correct. So I should get this point Z3 should be equal to about Z1 I'm rotating. So half plus root 3 by 2i plus Z2 minus a. So Z2 minus a is 0 minus this. So minus half minus root 3 by 2i into e pi by 3, ei pi by 3. Ei pi by 3 is 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2 I. So is it coming as out to be Z3? Let's just check. This multiplication is minus, this is just the negative of it. So minus taken common, this is half plus 1 by root 2 by 2 I whole square. So it is 1 by 4 plus 3 by 4. So minus 3 by 4 plus 2 into half into root 3 by 2 into I. And we have outside a half plus root 3 by 2i. So this becomes minus half. This is minus half. And this is minus half plus root 3 by 2i. So plus half
it's correct.
minus root 3 by 2. Oh, it's coming. It is coming. So
So
orientation is coming.
so in a cyclic order, it will be correct, right? If you take even Z2 plus epsilon Z3 plus epsilon squared Z1 and
Correct. It should be correct. So then our calculation is wrong. Is our
so that,
calculation wrong?
so then I think I can I got a proof that the sum is 0.
I think
Okay.
how?
So because the three values will be equal, like in a cyclic order, and when you add them up, you will get epsilon squared plus epsilon plus 1 common, which becomes 0.
Epsilon square plus the three values will be equal, as in how are you saying equal? Which one is equal?
So Z2 plus
There is some mistake that is happening. Maybe it is epsilon square Z2 plus epsilon Z3. I have to check it. Z1 plus epsilon square Z2. So right now we have the correct order, positively oriented triangle. So what he says is a positively oriented triangle is such that A, B, C, if you rotate B about A through 60 degree, you should get C. So if you rotate, C point will be A plus B minus A into e power I pi by 3. Power I pi by 3. So this is my C point coordinate. So the result is saying for that positively oriented triangles, you should have A plus epsilon into B plus epsilon square into C should be equal to 0. I think now it should make sense. So A plus e power I 2 pi by 3 into b plus epsilon square c, that is e power I 4 pi by 3 into c is a plus b minus a e power I pi by 3. So that becomes a into e power I 4 pi by 3 plus b minus a into e power I 5 pi by 3, and e power I 5 pi by 3 is 2 pi minus pi by 3. So that is the same as, okay, so let's just write it, a plus e power I 2 pi by 3 into b plus this. So what do we have here? We have a 3 terms, right? We have a 1 plus e power I 4 pi by 3, and we have minus e power I 5 pi by 3, right? And b you have e power I 2 pi by 3, e power I 2 pi by 3 plus e power I 5 pi by 3, correct? This is what you have. Now this, when you have e power I 5 pi by 3, that is same as 5 pi by 3 is 300 degree, right? 300 degrees here, that is same as e power I minus pi by 3, right? Minus pi by 3, that is same as, so minus e power I minus pi by 3, this is minus pi by 3. So let's just check the values. Cos 4 pi by 3 is coming out to be negative half minus root 3 by 2 I, and minus of minus pi by 3, minus of this is half minus root 3 by 2 I. So this becomes plus root 3 by 2 I cancels. This becomes minus half, this becomes 0. This becomes 0, and this one becomes minus half plus root 3 by 2 I plus, again e power 5 pi by 3 is minus, so it is half minus root 3. Oh, everything is becoming 0, dude. Okay, so it is becoming 0. So this is the logic of it. So now I know two results. So first I know what is the meaning of a positively oriented triangle. Positively oriented triangle means if you rotate B about A through 60 degree and you get C, then that is a positively oriented triangle. In that case, here I am writing the rotation formula. C should be equal to, about what point are you rotating A and which one are you rotating B. So B minus A into e power I pi by 3, 60 degree. So you get this result for C, and in that case the result is this. The result is this, that if it is an equilateral triangle, you will have A plus epsilon B plus epsilon square C is 0, where epsilon is equal to e power I 2 pi by 3. Now here we have done it, we have proved this by an identity. This is an identity, it always is 0, right? So there is nothing wrong here. Now in case if it is a negatively oriented triangle, then that means basically you can switch. So what it means to be a negatively oriented triangle, if A B C, so triangle ABC is negatively oriented if and only if ACB, triangle ACB is positively oriented. Basically the order of the naming is wrong, right? So ACB is positively oriented means if you rotate C through about A by 60 degree, you should get B. So basically actually this was the situation. And if you rotated C like this, you got 60 degree, you got B about A. This is then triangle ABC is called negatively oriented, right? in that case, the result that comes is A plus epsilon square B plus epsilon C is equal to 0, where epsilon is e power I 2 pi by 3. So in a positively oriented triangle, you had this result: A plus epsilon B plus epsilon square C is equal to 0. And in a negatively oriented triangle, you have this result. Epsilon is the same everywhere. Are you guys understanding what is happening? We have proved this. We have proved this by writing. How did we prove it? We wrote C as A plus B minus A into e power I pi by 3. And then we actually simplified and saw what happened. Right? Now here C and B have exchanged position. So you will write here B as A plus C minus A e power I pi by 3. That is your new situation for a negatively oriented triangle here, right? Again, the identity will be true, but the identity is slightly different now. Is everyone understanding?
Yes.
So this is for equilateral triangle. So we have seen multiple conditions for equilateral triangle. How can a triangle be called equilateral? So now basically the geometry part is more or less done. Depending on the questions, we'll encounter more geometry, but I will send you a worksheet now, which will have a lot of questions on this geometry part. We'll see while doing the questions, we'll see what is the understanding that we need. Okay. So that's about it. There is more stuff in geometry, but I don't want to just do this. So that's why I'll have to stop at some point, the complex number part. So what you should do now is learn, basically realize that you can apply this complex number understanding on your geometry questions. So if you are not getting anywhere, then try using complex numbers. So let me just send you an assignment and we'll do some questions on that, and it should hopefully be a little more clearer. Okay. That's it for today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.